We're opening this morning call with the appointment of a new government in Mali. The names of the 37 ministers were unveiled. 6 of them are entering this new government, but overall, there's little significant change. At their head is Prime Minister Soumeylou Boubeye Maiga, former Minister of Defense. This is the 5th Prime Minister appointed by President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, who came to power in 2013, and this change comes as the north of the country is facing a difficult security situation.
You're absolutely right, Barbara. Boubacar Keita's presidency has been dominated by security challenges posed by Islamist militants in the northern and central parts of the country. According to observers, the Malian head of state is preparing for next year's elections and is seeking better control of the situation in the north. The newly appointed prime minister is considered close to President Keita, despite having resigned as defense minister in 2014. Among the appointments is that of Thiema Hubert Koulibaly, former Minister of Territorial Administration, who is now the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
What will this reshuffle change? Will it give the new impetus to President Ibrahim Keita's policy? A few months for the presidential election, we highlight this with Alou Diawara, our correspondent. Hello. What are the reasons for this new reshuffle?
The
main reason is that the Prime Minister resigns, and with him all his government. Abdoulaye Idrissa Maiga slammed the door. According to sources close to him, he was no longer on the same wavelength as President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita. The palm of this code would be the appointment of 2 ministers of state wanted by the president. These personalities, to name, were not of the liking of Abdoulaye Idrissa, according to these sources. And against all odds, the Prime Minister presented his resignation 8 months after being appointed to his position. This resignation is telling several analysts here that this is far from being the perfect cohesion within the Rassemblement Party for Mali, the ruling party, because the resigning Prime Minister was Vice President of the party and one of the personalities whose context he has been appointing as Minister of State is also a leader of the same party in power. For the moment, the 2 ministers of state are not appointed, but it is not too late. The chair has the discretion to do so at any time. Meanwhile, the handover of power between the former and the new prime minister is on Tuesday morning. With the appointment of his 5th prime minister in 4 years of power, the opposition states a government instability. Kindly explain to us why. Precisely, the opponents are wondering how governments are doing and are demaking so quickly in Mali. They point out, for example, and you have said that President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita has already appointed 5 prime ministers since he came to power in 2013, which is a record in comparison with other regimes. The opposition recalls that President Alpha Ouammar Konaré worked with 5 ministers between 1992 and 2002, and that Amadou Touamani Touré had 4 prime ministers between 2002 and 2012. Some opponents say that the problem is to seek at President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita himself. Last question, a few months from the presidential election, what will be the changes for this government? In his speech to the nation on the occasion of the new year, Ibrahim Boubacar Keita said that one of Mali's priorities is a fight against terrorism. Attacks are perpetrated almost daily. We will fight against terrorism, he said. He also stressed the challenge of stabilizing the country through the peace process in the country. An agreement signed 2 years ago with the armed groups of the north, but whose implementation is laborious. Ibrahim Boubacar Keita also suggested that the organization of general elections will be one of the challenges of his government, as voices rise to demand the establishment of a transition because of the context of insecurity that would not allow the holding of elections. Ibrahim Keita has raised all ambiguity. The year 2018 is perceived by many as that of All Alerts, for it will house 3 major electoral consultations, each bearing its burden of uncertainties and tensions, the president said. He then also assured
a déclaré Ibrahim Boubacar Keita. Le président a ensuite assuré, je cite,
Thank you, Alou Diawara, for your insights on the appointment of this new government in Mali. Alou Diawara is an African News correspondent in Bamako.